Greetings, greetings, greetings. Good morning. On this beautiful Saturday, this is Goddess Nanu coming to you live. All right, and today, you know, I've been dealing with some things personally, and spend a lot of time in meditation and reflection, and I came out with something very liberating. Um, and I asked God to help me with my addiction to sugar and um, chocolate or caffeine, and trying to figure out where it came from. Because you can't really heal from things and really break through or be delivered or from something like an addiction or even bad habits if you don't understand what's at the root of it, or vicious cycles in your life, cycles in your relationships, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't take time to understand what's at the root of what's going on. Um, and so I've been going through a few things, some things. So I've been taking a lot of time to step back and really, really reflect on myself, on my life, on how I feel. And an interesting thing is that you know what, I think I may have pre-diabetes. See, a lot of people talk about eating to live and things like that. And I was strict vegan for over 8 years, and 75% raw. But nobody really ever tells you about those addictions that you have. Because even though I was a strict vegan, 75% raw, I still had an addiction to sweets. And that was my little, I cheated every day almost. With some sweets. At one point, I did try to do dates with, some butter or something like that. But I still had a problem with sweets. And that was just one thing I never could break. And mentally, I just not could not break that addiction. And just recently, I think I'm started to struggle with pre-diabetes, some signs and showing some starting signs of that, and making me very aware that I'm being affected by having too much sugar in my diet every day. And so my grandmother has diabetes, so it is something I need to be, conscious of. But it's an addiction that I've been trying to break for some time. Um, so that being said, um, I think I'm in a place now where I am breaking that and realizing what it is tied to. And definitely for me, it is tied to a lot of the abuse that I experienced as a child and a teenager. Um, and a way for me to feel loved, etc. Just a way to cope, really, to cope with not feeling love. Like, this is the way I'm gonna love myself. I'm gonna give myself something sweet, something that makes me feel good, and gives me this high or whatever. Trying to recreate something um, energetic that you're lacking in real life. Um, so, that being said, you also have to address your current reality too. Okay, so even when you realize why why you started this addiction, what's at the root of it, um, and why this is something that you decided to use to cope um, with whatever was going on in your life, you have to ask yourself, well, why am I still needing this to cope? What about what, baby? You what? You want some honey? We don't have any honey. Okay, all right. I'll get y'all something in a second. I just fed y'all. All right, I'll get you some in a minute. Hold on. All right. Oh, okay, you guys. Okay. All right. I'm trying to do a video right now. Please stop yelling under the door. I'll get you some in a minute. All right. And they do have manners. And we'll talk about manners in a second. But I'm gonna try to finish this video first. But they do have manners. And even though they're not demonstrating them. Okay. So that being said, I'm talking about coping. So you also have to think about what is it currently that's going on in my life that I'm trying to cope with. What is it that I'm trying to cope with? Because that's what addiction is. That's how addictions are created. This is why people have trouble breaking addictions, because they're trying to create an experience to cope with their reality, um, even if it's just a perceived reality, or it could be their reality, period. Um, whether or not, you don't feel loved, or what may ever may be happening in your life, whether you've been raped, um, or abused, or feel mistreated in some way, or whether you are living your life for other people, and need, doing something for yourself. This is your something you feel like you're doing for yourself, even though you're harming yourself. Um, it could be self-hate. You may hate yourself. You may blame yourself for things that have happened in your life. You may still be blaming yourself for things that have happened to you, and maybe punishing yourself for those things. It's all kind of reasons for addictions and for doing things we think we need to do to cope. Whether, it could be all kind of reasons, things that people are dealing with. It could be grief. It could be due to a loss, um, loss, death in the family, loss of a close loved one. It could be raped, anything. It could be even abortion. You coping with um, having aborted a child, or having lost a child, or lost a mom, or lost a dad, or maybe for me personally, um, I grew up, I never felt loved. Okay. I never felt like anybody really loved me. Felt like everybody around me used me and abused me. Um, and, I'm not going to go into my personal life, but that being said, that's at the root of my sugar addiction. And I had to realize that in some of the things going on in my relationship that still make me feel that way. So a part of that breaking that addiction is choosing not to cope. Okay. Choosing not to cope. So many of us wake up in the morning and we figure out, because you feel horrible and you're trying to figure out what you need to do to get your body and your mind in line with what you want it to do. Mhm. Because you're not in a place physically, mentally, or whatever. You're not in a place to really do what it is that you feel like you need to do. And so you find ways to cope. Um, or even just to go to work, or just to be alive. Some people are coping with just trying to stay here, you know, and they don't want to deal with the pain of facing their truth about their life experience. It could be current, could be past, and we're really consciousness. So really time is irrelevant when you're talking about trauma. You could have trauma from past lifetimes. Um, and that are still affecting you right now. So when you're talking about trauma, time is irrelevant. It doesn't matter if something just happened or it happened, 30 years ago. It doesn't matter. Or hundreds of years ago. It doesn't matter. Thousands of years ago. It doesn't matter. That trauma still exists within your psyche, within your being, within your consciousness. And, coping with it is not the answer. Because as long as you're coping, you're not healing. Okay. Because whenever you're coping, you're doping yourself up with whatever you're doping yourself up with. Yes, you could be doping yourself up with sugar. You could be doping yourself up with salt. You could be doping yourself up with fat. You could be doping yourself up with alcohol. You could be doping yourself up with marijuana, with with crack, heroin, meth, whatever it is that you're doping yourself up with. um, you're coping, and I understand. And there's all kind of ways to cope. Some of you all use healthy means to cope, but you're still coping. You can use yoga, you can use meditation, you can use prayer um, as a means to cope. Some people use religion as a means to cope. Um, And, I'm not talking against that at all. But what I'm saying is that instead of coping, you need to focus on healing. That means stop trying to force yourself to be who you think you should be or to feel what you think you should be feeling. It's okay for you to feel like shit is fucked up when shit is fucked up. Mm. Some fucked up thing happened to you. And you know what? You should be angry about it. You should feel fucked up about it. I mean, you should feel some kind of way about it. And it is okay to feel. It is okay to feel, and feeling that is a part of your healing process. Being honest about it is a part of your healing process. I want to challenge you all to stop trying to cope. Stop trying to cope with a fucked up reality. We all live in America. If you live in America, this is a fucked up place. It's a fucked up country to live in. I'm sure there's a lot of other messed up countries, okay? But our country is a messed up country, all right? And we've got to stop trying to cope with that and be honest about it, be real about it, be angry, be upset, be honest. And when you're doing that, there's no reason to cope. There's no reason to force yourself to do this or do that. You have to break free. You have to break free. That means stop forcing yourself to do things. Stop forcing yourself to do things. I understand you have to survive. You may have, like I do, you have children depending on you. Okay, there's basic things that you have to do. There's basic things you have to do, absolutely. But if you need to take a mental health day, you take a mental health day or a couple days, whatever you need to do for yourself. For yourself. Do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. What would the world be like if everybody stopped coping? What would the world be like if you guys stopped forcing yourself to go to a job and slave for someone else? When the money you're even making isn't even taking care of half of what you need to take care of. Mm. I mean, what would happen if everybody just stopped? Mm. Would this nation burn down? I'm not sure. I'd like to know though. I'd like to see that. I would really like to see that. And I know, that probably won't happen. That probably won't happen. But if you want to change things in your life, you have to decide that today, today, I'm going to choose not to cope with this. I'm not going to cope with this. I'm not going to go along with this. I'm not going to do whatever it takes to participate in normal activities today as if any of this is normal, as if anything in my life is normal, because it's not mentally healthy for you to work hard to trick your own psyche into feeling like things are normal. It's not healthy. So I want you all to stop coping and stop doing that. Stop going along in life so that everybody and everything else can keep carrying on as normal when things are not normal. Stop, stop, stop. Don't cope. Don't cope. Don't cope. I understand there are healthy ways to cope, etc., etc. I want to challenge you all not to cope. Don't cope. Don't cope. Heal. Don't cope. Heal. And healing requires change. Healing requires change. It requires a drastic change in the way that you address your issues. That means your issues have to be addressed. These issues in your life have to be addressed. These things that have happened or are happening has to be addressed, and it has to be addressed head on. Don't cope. Don't cope. That energy you put into coping, put that energy into addressing your issues and healing. Redirect. Redirect yourself and the instructions that you're giving yourself that you've been programmed and trained to do. We've coped with oppression long enough. We've coped with abuse long enough. It's time to stop coping with it. Stop going along to get along and going along as normal. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. Stop coping and start addressing these issues, addressing the people in your life who are hurting you or who have hurt you. Um, Put down whatever it is. Put down that drink. Put down that drink. Put down that drink. Go curse out whoever you need to curse out. Go do that. It's healthier. Stop letting people make you feel like your anger. Something wrong with your anger. Something's wrong with your sadness. No. No. Those are healthy emotions. No, they're not pleasant, but they're healthy emotions. They're not pleasant, but they're healthy. Allow yourself to feel and express. Express those emotions. We are not in slavery anymore. We are not in slavery anymore. Nobody's going to string you up from expressing your anger to injustice. Nobody's going to string you up for being too upset to carry on with your work. Do you hear me? Nobody's going to do that to you. You don't have to carry on with your work today. No, you do not. You don't have to carry on with your work today. Your employer is mistreating you. You do not have to carry on with your work. If you need to tear something up, tear it up. Hey, tear it up. If that's what you need to do, if that's how you want to express your anger. Now, don't go out and kill nobody. Don't hurt yourself or hurt anybody. Don't do that because that's just going to make the situation worse in so many ways. But you find some healthy ways to express your emotions, express how you feel, and speak your truth. You find some healthy ways to do that today. I want you to live out loud today. Don't quiet how you feel. Don't be silent about what's happened to you. You live your truth and you live it out loud. And I'm not saying for you to just go out and put your business out there with strangers for people to take advantage of you or to feel like, because abuse is normal in your life, they have the right to abuse you too, because that's what people do. That's not what I'm telling you. That's not what I'm telling you. Mm. Nobody's entitled. Nobody's entitled to anything from you. You don't owe anybody anything. No, you do not. So you stop coping. Stop coping with the abuse. Stop coping with the mistreatment. Stop coping with the injustices of life. Stop coping with it. Mm-mm. Don't cope with it. Be honest about how you feel. We got to stop putting on these good faces. Stop putting on these good faces, trying to look, be, and seem strong. You are strong. You are strong. You don't have to put on a face for that. The fact that you're still here, that we're still here as a people, that in itself is a testament that we're strong. You don't need to put on a face for anybody. You don't need to put on a suit for anybody. You don't need to put on a show for anybody. You don't need to force a smile on your face. If you're angry, be angry today. It's okay. Make an angry face. Make an angry face. Make an angry face. And don't you let nobody make you feel any kind of way because you're angry about things you should be angry about. You feel like crying, you cry today. I don't care if you're at your desk at work. You feel like crying, you cry. And don't you let nobody make you feel any kind of way because you need to cry. Because some fucked up shit is happening to you. Some fucked up shit has happened and is happening to you. And the shit you're dealing with is fucked up. Uh-uh. Don't you let nobody make you feel any kind of way. Yeah, I said it. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and cry. Go ahead and be angry if you need to be angry. Stop coping with things that you shouldn't have to cope with. Mm. Stop carrying things by yourself that you shouldn't have to carry. Stop closing things up and repressing things that don't need to be repressed. We're talking about your mental health right now. These are the kind of things that causes people to snap. These are the kind of things that cause people to have a nervous breakdown because you're busy trying to cope and trying to carry on as normal. Protecting this illusion. And you're not protecting yourself, you're protecting all of those who have hurt you. You're protecting those who are in authority, that have abused their authority. If you're at work right now, it's very likely you're protecting your bosses. Go ahead and have your breakdown. Go to HR. Write up your report. of how the people are abusing you and mistreating you. Absolutely. Y'all stop coping because you're not going to heal as long as you're coping and putting up with things. That's no way to heal. And I'm taking my own advice today. Yes, I am. I'm taking my own advice today. And I wanted to share this with you because I feel very liberated this morning. And I know, you know, we all have our unique situations. We all have our unique situations and things that we're going through, but we're all human. And if you're human, you're living on this planet, I know that you're going through something. And if you're living in America, I know you're definitely going through something, especially if you're black in America. And if you're a black woman in America like me, mm, you definitely got some things to be angry about. You got some things that you probably need to cry about. And that's okay. It's okay. Go ahead and do that. Don't pretend for nobody. Don't pretend for nobody. Somebody asks you what's wrong, you tell them what's wrong. I'm tired of dealing with this shit. Y'all need to start expressing yourselves. Don't let slavery carry on. Don't bring slavery into 2022 with you. Don't do that. We're not coping with this nonsense no more. We're not coping with injustice anymore. We're not coping with it no more. Start talking about how these children have been shot up in the schools. Start talking about how uh, the police are still beating up our people in the streets. Start talking about how they're killing black women and babies in the hospitals. And you're just devastated. You're devastated because this is affecting you. It's affecting your mental health. Start talking about how, you know, you didn't get enough maternal leave to spend time with your baby. Start talking about how you weren't supported postpartum. Yeah, talk about it. Talk about it. Start talking about how, somebody told you that you being raped was your fault. Talk about it. Or somebody made you feel like you should sympathize with your abuser. Talk about it. And you're still doing that. Talk about how nobody's hugged you today. Nobody asked you how you were doing today. Mm. Shouldn't have to see somebody cry before you ask them if they're okay. A lot of people are not okay. A lot of people are not okay. Don't lie about it. Don't pretend to be okay. Because as long as you're pretending to be okay, you're not going to get the justice that you need. You're not going to heal. You're not going to get anything that you deserve to get. You're not going to be compensated. You're not going to, things are going to get better as long as you're pretending that it's okay. How can it get better? You pretending it's already fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. And running away from the problem, that's not going to help either. Running away is not going to help either. We gotta start addressing our things head on. You can't run away. You can't cope. You can't dope yourself up. You can't psych yourself out. Those things are coping mechanisms. You can't repress it. You can't move it to the back of your mind, forget, pretend like it didn't happen, and just move on. You can't just meditate it away. You can't yoga it away. You can't pray it away. Now, all those things may make you feel better. You can't drink it away. You can't smoke it away. You can't shoot it up away. It may make you feel better temporarily, but it's not going to change your situation. So I want y'all to stop coping, start being real, start being real about how you feel, what's been done to you, what's being done to you, why you feel the way you feel, what's going on in your life. Be honest, be expressive. Express yourself. Yeah, express yourself. Stop being civil. It's not it's not going to help you heal. It's not going to help you get the change that you need in your life. Be be in your feelings. Absolutely. Be in your feelings. Be in your feelings. Don't do anything that's going to, ruin your life or anything. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to feel what you feel and to express what you feel. You should never be afraid to do that. Because the consequences of not doing that is too great. It's too great. And I want you all to be well today. Thank you for watching. Please drop something in the comments, those of you who are watching. I love feedback. I want to know that I'm not talking to just talking to myself. So drop something in the comments, okay? Make sure you go to my YouTube, subscribe, subscribe, and share. Okay? Absolutely. All right. Love you guys. Peace, love, light. Goddessnanu.com. Go there. I appreciate your support.